Katie Porter taking to social media sans whiteboard and regaling us with her thoughts on national politics. So we're going to start with that this week and listen to what she has to say and give our thoughts about this. And, it's Katie Porter, so she's cringe. So we'll go ahead and do the stinger.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
I think we need to get some Katie Porter sound bites as well for cringe moment of the week. Maybe we need to diversify.
You're just gonna make me angry every week.
Well, that's good. Maybe it's good to get the anger flowing. It makes for a passionate podcast. So,
or unhinged craziness. No, but as I mentioned to you right before we hopped on, I don't know what it is about her, Katie, that causes such an adverse reaction to me. But I get triggered. I do.
Yeah, there's something about we'll watch the video and we'll discuss because I saw this video. I was like, oh, all right. So we're already starting with this. Remember, she has formally announced she's running for governor of California. And I want to emphasize she's running for governor of California. That's a state in the United States. So let's watch what she says.
Last week, Donald Trump attacked California over and over and over again. Why is Donald Trump lobbying these attacks? Because he doesn't want to look in the mirror at his own self-created problems for this country, like tariffs that are driving up costs for every American, slowing down our economy and risking higher unemployment. He doesn't want to deal with the national security crisis that his irresponsible nominees, his irresponsible cabinet officials have created with their use of Signal and mishandling of classified information. And he doesn't want to deal with the anger across this country about how an unelected person is making massive spending cuts to the parts of the government that Americans depend on, including things like financial aid for students to go to college and the Social Security phone line so people can get the benefits they earn. Donald Trump doesn't want to look at any of that, so he's trying to point the finger elsewhere, but we need to point it right back at him.
Okay. Right back at him. Her opening salvo, she announced a couple of weeks ago, we discussed it.
Yeah.
Already going after Donald Trump because there's no issues in California that we need to worry about. Let's just go after Donald Trump in national politics and not talk about, I don't know, all the issues that are happening here in California, from homelessness to crime to unaffordability to the housing crisis to wildfires to insurance crisis. And that's probably just a couple right off the top of my head. But let's talk about Donald Trump and Elon Musk. What were your thoughts of this video? Because I know you have passionate thoughts about this video.
Okay, well, I'm going to try to remain calm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yes, she's running for governor of California. That to me felt like a congressional ad, which she is for Congress. I think she was 2 or 3 terms in Orange County, the 47th district. Perhaps her mindset is still there. I don't know. Then, of course, we saw her run for U.S. Senate against Adam Schiff and Steve Garvey and others. And she lost big time with that. And now she's jumping back into California governor. She did not name, like you said, she did not name one California issue. Everything she named is not something that she can control or fix or have any say over as governor of California. And I want to emphasize that, and I'm not talking condescendingly to anybody, but I think that there are a lot of people that don't actually understand all these offices. And every talking point that she just had, and she has many such videos on her on X that I went through, and everything she talks about is not related to California. Yes, those things affect Californians. Yes, because we're all part of the United States, absolutely. But she's not addressing anything like you said. Just reiterate, as you said, California has homelessness issues. We have a housing crisis. We have wildfires that are going wild. We have billions and billions in budget deficits. We were kind of talking earlier this week, another like friendly, I've had windows and doors open, so I get flies, mosquitoes, whatever. Or a lot of cities in California are facing huge deficits. Like we're talking in the hundreds of millions. Some, what's her
Billions.
face, Karen Bass, billions, asked for billions. Um, Nothing. Katie's like talking about none of these, and I don't know if she's running, like if she's actually going to maybe, if Kamala Harris enters the race, she backs out and then runs for Congress again. I don't know, but none of this is California specific. And so I'm like, does she not understand, or is there a play here going on?
It was interesting that she had only mentioned California once in that entire video, and the rest of it was all about Donald Trump and Elon Musk. And of course, they were just broad kind of strokes about what Doge is doing and Elon Musk and cutting all these essential things. We're not going to get into that, but it's always these kind of top line arguments about Trump and this unelected bureaucrat, and which is one of the laziest arguments. Presidents have had appointed people in his cabinet that are unelected. I mean, technically, you don't elect the cabinet of the president of the United States, but they get there, and they get there through probably the Senate. But there are other people who get appointed to positions. Regardless, it's kind of like a dumb argument to be like, "Oh, we don't like unelected people making cuts to government." You're a fan of big agencies, you're a fan of the big 3-letter agencies, you're a fan of the administrative state, the fourth branch of government, as I like to call it. You're a fan of all these unelected bureaucrats deciding so many things about our lives. One guy comes in and says, hey, maybe we should stop the fraud, waste, and abuse here in the federal government. And all of a sudden, everyone loses their mind. But yeah, to your point, it's she hasn't talked about anything related to California. And it's just her going, well, we have to stand up to Donald Trump. Okay, so is this what 2026 is going to be about? Like, is this going to be every Democrat's like platform is like, I'm going to be the governor who stands up to Donald Trump? And it's like, who cares? We have so many problems here in California that I don't care about Donald Trump anymore. Like his policies don't really affect California in a big macro scale or in a micro scale either. Like, tell us how you're going to fix stuff. And I saw this video and I was like, we have to talk about it, because if this is her opening or one of her opening videos that she's recording and putting out there on her Twitter of like, I'm going to stand up to Donald Trump. It's like, cool. Thanks for addressing any of the issues we might have here in California. Glad to know you're just focused on the Donald Trump. We hate Donald Trump